I think when I was first applying, I did an engineering degree, and I spent a lot of time doing a lot of very engineering projects which went on for quite a long time, and I never really got the fast pace and lots of different variety all in one go. And QR really stood out as being a consultancy in that world and in the world of these big projects. But I had the ability to go into a lot of different ones and try out a lot of different things within those clients, whether it was automotive or aerospace or defence, is always trying something new, but having the same principle and putting a new spin on it with each project that I did. And it was that variety which just jumped out. If I had to describe it now in 3 words after joining, it would be creative, lots of creative people at the company. It would be imaginative with the way that we do, and friendly. The culture is one of the best parts about it. I don't think there's any quite such thing as a typical day or week. It all varies. But essentially, it will be a work from home maybe on a Monday or a Friday, and then on client site in the thick of the action for the Tuesday through Thursday. Within those days can be anything, but again, it's typically split into two main areas. It will either be the analysis and the getting stuck into the data, finding out what the problems, trying to solve the problems with what we can see in front of us. And the second bit is the collaborative bit, the meetings, the workshops, the convincing the client of this is what we've found so far and this is where we believe you need to go next, and highlighting those areas and actually getting the next steps and the traction with the importance analysis you've already done, but actually seeing that put into practice and action and moved forward. It highlights the areas which they haven't necessarily thought about before, because when you're working within a company, you get so caught up in what you're doing, what your role is, and what you think the problem might be. And then by just taking that step back, by having that look at, right, what's it actually telling us? Where can we actually make a big difference? And what simple, quick wins can we actually do to advance that much quicker than you would otherwise expect? Quite often when people always look at it, they always go, oh, if we're getting a new thing, that will solve it all, and then that will be the way that we want to fix it. But really, there's so many more quick wins and simple stuff which people just haven't quite thought about, or why doesn't this person talk to this person, which we found to be really, really impactful in that short space of time and that quick turnaround. Team dynamic is a bit like a very, very large 30-person family almost. We all meet with everyone in the team once a month, really, an absolute minimum. And then within that time, we're all on site for a day, learning about what each other's doing, learning about what people enjoy, having some social time, as well as just figuring out what they're like to work with and having that aspect of it. And it just means whenever you get put on a new project with someone who you might not have necessarily worked for before, but it already feels like you know them, and you can really start the ball rolling and start on the front foot. People at QR are a really good mix of caring about the work, caring about what they do, but also knowing how to have fun, how to make the day job enjoyable, and how to make the post-work enjoyable as well. But that finding ways to keep the work really enjoyable, really engaging, really always something new and something refreshing, has been amazing. So outside of client-facing work, there's so much you can get involved in. So I'm a member of The Voice, where it's all of the more junior non-management team who can report upwards, and we can work together to make processes and pain points slightly easier for everyone involved. But there are also several business working groups that everyone can get involved with, whether that's being socially responsible and environmentally conscious, or something else like your well-being team, or something along those lines, which helps lift the moods of everyone and helps that social aspect. When I first joined QR, the learning curve was very, very steep, and I think the thing that almost made it is that just being unafraid to ask questions and try and absorb as much information as possible. It's a new industry for most people that join QR, especially at that graduate level, and it's always going to be a steep learning curve with the subject matter knowledge that you will only have to pick up by doing the job. And by doing the job, you do learn quickly and you do progress, and QR really does an excellent job at putting people in a position where they're forced to step outside of their comfort zone, forced to learn quicker around a new topic, and also take on that responsibility that goes with it, delivering a high-level product at the end. So I think one of the most surprising things actually about joining QR is in whether it's a senior level governance presentation when you're thrown in the deep end and having to present there, or it's just a stand-up and a chat with your very close colleagues that you work on project. Keeping it light and keeping people engaged actually is such an important value. Quite often if you don't do that and you're just presenting a really boring set of slides or just reading from a slide and going through it, it's very easy for stakeholders to go on their phone, be a bit disengaged, and you're not capturing their attention. But just by making it a bit fun, putting a different spin on it can have such a big impact, just way outside of the work that you've just done on project, but having people engaged with it, happy and excited to drive it forward, and that attitude and that culture can be cultivated so effectively, but through some quite simple methods. To succeed at QR, the most important thing is to ask questions and drive your own career and your own development forward. If you're waiting for people to tell you this is the angle that you need to follow next, and this is your very next task, and it's very closed off, it's really hard to get to that point where you can grow really fast and can properly push yourself. If you're applying to join QR, definitely make the most of the interview process. Ask the questions of the people you meet along the way where you can. Just finding more about the role, more about how people have done it, what they've done it as part of their job, and any more of the niche aspects that you'd like to know. But also have it with that data-minded, impact-led approach. Like, how can I leave an impact that can be tangibly felt throughout the interview process, and making that personable, making your personality come across.